Welcome to Biggest Geekus. We are your hosts. I am Joe.
And I'm Randy.
This is episode 144 of our show, and the date is Tuesday, June 20th, 2023. What's up?
Not much.
You have a halo.
I know. No, let me see if I can turn that off. Let's see if I can turn it off. Is that better? Now I'm in the darkness.
You're in the darkness.
Mm-hmm. We'll see how.
What you would probably just need to do is angle your screen a little bit so it might block the light. I mean, angle it, tilt it more toward you. Yeah. While your T-shirt is interesting.
Oh, I know. Oh, look at these. Oh, look at that. Ironcaster. Welcome, sir. Got his tickets for Big Geek Con purchased. Well done.
Good deal.
And Darth too. Oh, yeah.
We're getting very close to our 20, if that's all the case there.
We're very close.
Although Randy put his foot on the scale, so to speak.
Oh, I did.
If we're going to count those three that you bought,
they're purchased. We're going to count them. Screw it. Money's gone, baby. How many we got, Joe? What's up, Ryan David? Malachi. Legion of Myth. Darth. Martinson. All the good people are here. And the evil. Ironcaster. Darth. Oh, we already said him. Reactionary Principle Gaming. I'm naming them all, Joe. Lady One. Iron Man. Martinson. Did I say Martinson? He gets 2.
Oh, Timothy Scott got his. He bought 4, looks like.
Woo!
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 14.
14. Are mine not listed? Hey, kitty.
Yours are listed in that 14.
Okay, we got 14 out of 20, baby. Still got a good, almost a solid month left. So
that's really groovy.
Yeah, I've got my room completely cleared out, and so sorry if it's echoing or anything, but look at Ryan David. Not for nothing, I looked at airfare today. Dude, I wish you were closer. We'd love to have you here. Immortal Rising. Dude, can't wait for that comic. I'm telling you every time, but I can't wait. It's going to be good. How was your week, Joe?
My week was good.
Yep.
So just got a lot done. Still got a lot to do.
Yeah, you used my go ahead.
There's some cool stuff happening over at BGE. We got bundles ready to go. We're working on getting vendor marketing email so that the vendors can contact their customers through the site.
Yeah. And
that's really cool. There was initially, lots of people were like, not lots, many people who were interested in that as well. So that because it's taken a long time because it's not an uncomplicated process. And we are offloading processing power for that to a third-party provider. We're just going to hook up through a software, and hopefully that works out well.
Hey, it looks like, I don't know if you want to take a peek at Rumble. Got a little Rumble rant from our boy Patty.
Oh, let's see.
Yeah. Welcome, Super
All righty. Go ahead.
I was just saying, welcome, Super Grove. That's awesome. Oh, should I read it?
Oh, okay. I can do that.
Can you put it up?
Patty's Parlor Games. Good to see you guys. I'll be working on the new book. Might be lurking. Bring more peeps to Rumble.
Lurk it up. I think Kitty is his. And that is Kitty with Patty? That seems right. I could be wrong.
I don't remember.
I don't know either. If not, I'm sure they'll let me know.
It's probably because I'm sexist.
Yes. What's wrong with being sexy?
Well,
sexist. My bad. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Well, that's from This is Spinal Tap. Yes, Kitty is the proud, the powerful, the most.
Oh, Kitty. Okay, yeah, on
Yeah,
there.
I thought so. I thought she
I
was
wonder.
the one and only.
I wonder who the Super Groove 6868 is. I should probably change my name. LOL.
Oh,
Because
go ahead. Yeah.
The cool thing is he has as "Don't Tread on Me" that you can tell by the yellow. You don't see the whole thing in his little icon next to his name, Super Groove 6868 over on Rumble.
Yeah.
But I can tell it's either "Don't Tread on Me" or one of its variants. Hey, Ryan David, I sent you an email about that font. It's Aldo the Apache.
Oh man, do you think there'll be a day where we'll get to go fully to Rumble? Because I kind of like the rebelliousness of Rumble.
Well, considering there's usually only 1 or 2 or 3 people in the chat, probably not anytime soon.
Violence solves everything's there now.
True.
Oh, look at this. Warning everybody, Mr. Boivin, Patty's Parlor should be on his RPG design talk this Saturday. Those are very good shows there, Mr. Boivin. Keep it up.
I have been remiss on my listens to podcasts and watching stuff on YouTube. I have been kind of deep diving.
Mm-hmm.
Or not deep diving. That's not the right word. Binging.
Yeah.
Audiobooks.
Really?
And you can listen to several for free. Usually, if there's a series, you can listen. Some series authors let you listen to the first one if there's a few books in to get you hooked in. But yeah, I've been kind of just stuck in that mode and haven't switched back to the podcast thing. So sorry, guys. I will do that probably later this week. I'll get all caught up.
You know, this week I kind of shortchanged Joe on Thursday. Yeah, you can see that, Ryan.
He has a ceiling fan.
Yeah, that cloaker tail. Look at that. Yeah, sweet. Well, you know, cloakers no better than to attack me. They just.
So what is up with that? Your pull chain for your ceiling fan shouldn't be flopping around.
Well, it's a flopper. I have a couple of short ladies in my house. One that likes to claim she's 5'3", but I think that's a stretch. Another that's not quite reaching the 5 foot mark. So we got.
You should give it a little girth there, so it's weighty and just dangles.
Looks really masculine and stuff.
Yeah.
Darth says you look around on YouTube, you can find a lot of audiobooks. Wow.
Yeah, listening on YouTube doesn't work when you're walking around on your route, because unless you pay for YouTube and can listen to it while your screen on your phone is closed. I don't sit at the computer and listen to audiobooks, so it's a lot less convenient. I guess I can. There's a way to download YouTube videos and extract the audio, so I suppose I could do that. But that's kind of a lot of work. It would depend on considering. There's this one fellow who does the Jim Butcher books.
Ooh.
And,
yeah, I've got a couple of his audiobooks.
But he, to avoid copyright issues, he will intersperse it with stuff, right?
Wait a minute. Are you talking about? Oh, there's a guy that does it on YouTube.
He'll do a YouTube video where he reads a chapter out of one of the Dresden novels, and so that he can avoid copyright issues and getting strikes, he will intersperse it with like commentary.
Oh, okay.
Some of it will be about the book, some of it will be about him. He doesn't do a lot of editing, so if he flubs, that stays in there. So it's okay, and my wife has enjoyed that one a bit, but I would find it annoying. So
I wish I
as annoying as subtitles.
I want to. Violence Solves Everything on Rumble says go to HT. Oh, colon. LibriVox.
LibriVox. Yeah, I have that app on my phone,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and
That'll
I
help
do
you out
listen
there.
to. I think the first things I started listening to on that was the um, John Carter books, the Martian books where he's on Mars.
Yeah.
Barsoom. But yeah, I listened to all that through LibriVox and then a few other series. Yeah.
Dude.
So the public domain stuff is all right, but most of your sci-fi and fantasy are from back in the day, 40s and 50s, and was serialized and then made into novels, and it's a different. The older sci-fi is even from the 60s is a different animal from today, so it's okay.
Yeah. Whoa, just on that side note, that's not how short some of the ladies are. Kitty says no female in her family is below 5'7", and she's 5'11", so they got some tall gals.
Yeah, my mother was 4 foot. Was she? She was under 5 foot, but I can't remember.
Yes, she was. She was tiny, dude.
My sister Marnie was short. Well, actually, only my sister Sherry was
halfway tall. She was 5'7", 5'8". Was Sherry?
More like 5'5", I think.
Okay, she was a giant.
Yeah, compared to my other sisters who were all shorties.
Yeah, yeah. But this week I kind of hosed Joe and Patrick too. We were going to play Hyperborea.
Yeah.
Here's the problem.
You said, hey, we got to play Thursday. We got to play. And then the last second you said, I can't make it.
Well, here's the deal. I didn't make it really clear. So I'm playing every other week in a game with Ben. And as much time as I do have, I'm feeling a bit pulled with a lot of things here. You know how my home situation is. And so I just can't add a consistent game. And I got a little frustrated, and I just said, you know what? It's just going to have to be when it can happen. It's not that I don't want to have a campaign, but it's going to be looser. I'm really hoping next weekend, I got to talk to the wife, we can have a mega session, like on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, since you're off like forever. So,
right. Someone is also suggesting Lovecraft. We, the wife and I, listen to a lot of Lovecraft on LibriVox, and this fellow was doing some readings as well. This British fellow, Mike Bennett is his name. Probably find his podcast, but he did some, not a whole lot, some Lovecraft reads. But yeah, we listened to several of the Lovecraft, and it's fine, regardless of what some folks want to. They get on the hate bandwagon because, Lovecraft was writing back in the 1920s, and he's a product of his time. He wasn't a pioneer of any kind except in writing weird science fiction horror movie.
Who wasn't a pioneer? Lovecraft?
I mean, he wasn't a social pioneer.
Oh.
He was a writing pioneer.
Yeah.
So it was back in the 1920s. And if you just look at people from where he's at in his social strata, he's not that dissimilar. And by some accounts, he when he later on in his life, he mellowed out and married a Jewish woman who, he wasn't Jewish, and apparently had words about Jewish people that many people might have had at that time. Anyway,
yeah,
Lovecraft wrote interesting, horrific, science fiction-y type stories.
He used words that I didn't even know were English words.
Correct. Well,
that dude was some highfalutin.
He's from New England area, right? And I don't think he's British. I think he's from New England. But 1920 is the it's not that many generations separated from the settlers from the British Isles. So
wasn't Lovecraft Jack the 71st says Lovecraft helped out a huge number of writers. Wasn't he and Howard of Conan and Tolkien loosely, weren't they kind of contemporaries, pretty close? I thought they
I think Tolkien was more a decade or two later.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Maybe in the 30s. I could be wrong, but they're fairly close.
Mhm.
Then again, Tolkien's books became popular when he got older, you know, and I think Lovecraft's books didn't become all that popular until he kind of was dead. So,
Okay. Patty confirms on Rumble he was friends with Howard, not Tolkien. And I know Tolkien was friends with, well, he talked with C.S. Lewis when C.S. Lewis was just coming up.
right, they were correspondents.
Yeah, I find that
C.S. Lewis and Tolkien.
I'm with Kitty here. She says, I hate how so many people use his ideas, but complain he was a problematic person. Yeah, get over yourself. If you're going to use it, don't do that. And
By our standards, most people back then were problematic people, including the people they were problematic about. So,
yeah.
Because people are people.
Yeah. Did you get the game at all this week, Joe, after I hosed you?
No.
Well, yes, you did. You played board games.
Well, we played board games. We played a game called Tomb, which it was okay. We had fun. We were friends, and we had fun with our friends. The game,
you didn't like it all that much?
It was okay. I didn't win, so my perception of it's probably So my perception of it's probably not as good as if I may have won. I wasn't in last place. 5 of us played, and after we were done and we were saying goodbye, I said, "Hey, we had enough to play D&D."
That's always the way. You're dang
Randy. Yeah, we played long enough to have a nice little session, but
really,
it's but yeah, Tomb. If anybody here knows about the game, if anybody on here that I know of in our chat may know about Tomb, the board game, Ryan David would, because he's a big board game guy.
Yes, he is.
I would say it's okay. I wouldn't give it high marks. The production quality is fairly good, but gameplay isn't that great.
Tomb. Tomb.
Yeah, Tomb.
The cartoon, not that. No.
Not Toon, not Tome. Tomb.
Jack the 71st asks, how do you guys like Hyperborea RPG? I think we would love it if we had played more than one session.
Yeah, we'd have had a better opinion about it today if Randy played last week. If Randy deigned to run a game.
Well, I've become a bit snotty with my games. I'm an elitist, a gaming elitist. That, and I'm just finding myself pulled a lot of directions. So
finding yourself, that's a woo.
I'm trying to find myself. Stuff. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm trying to find myself. All right. Cool. Yeah, I didn't get any gaming in, but this weekend I'm going to game on Saturday. How do you like that, Joe?
See how you are?
That's how I am.
You're going to cancel our game and then go play somewhere else.
That's correct. Yes, I'm going to do that next week too. No, I plan to make it happen next week. Let me see if I make it happen. We're off. We got to. I'm sure we can get Patrick on board again.
So, yeah. Cool. If you actually will run a game, you will find people to play.
I know. I need to get to it. All right, dude. So we mash a monster.
Say that again.
So do you want to mash a monster tonight? Let's get to it.
I want to refer to something here, though.
Oh, okay.
Gloom. Darthiak is talking about Gloom. And I bought my wife a bunch of Gloom card game packs. She has like 4 or 5 now. But it's an odd game. It's a backwards game. Okay. So, yeah, how about we mash some slimes and jellies and oozes? I was going to ask you if I was about to ask you, or I was thinking about asking before we started.
You better think carefully.
About a particular monster that might fit into the ooze category, but it doesn't really, not officially. And that's a mimic. Mimics are aberrations.
They're technically aberrations.
In 3rd edition and forwards parlance. And they are a little more complicated they're a more complex being than just a pile of goop. but they can be amorphous. They're just a little bit different because what inevitably happens here is Randy will say, "What is your favorite or most? What encounter with one of these things do you remember the most?"
Right.
And I have one now.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
You just came up with one? Good.
Because I was thinking about that. I was like, well, I can think of a couple with mimics, but mimics aren't oozes. So
when I started my exploration, I did get a little tired because it's a little samey. I mean, more than normal. They started
sure.
in OD&D. There was just the black pudding, gray ooze, green slime, ochre jelly, and yellow mold.
Well, what differentiates some of these is how they get on the players.
Yes, correct. Some are actively attempting to gellify you. Others are just hanging around and hoping you walk underneath them or step into some water where they're underneath on the floor. Yeah, Thurston Howell IV has just made a return. He hasn't been here for a while, live anyway, he says. And he asked which one of us was the ooze and which was the slime. So if you don't mind, Joe, I will put that up here. Chicago says, I am the ooze and Joe is the slime. So not that either one's.
We are slightly amorphous.
We are.
At this time in our life.
Oh my gosh. Flady has got a Rumble rant. You want to read it or should I?
Rumble Rant Flady for $20 says, Ooze Master, always a class I wanted to try. Ooze Master. That's an NPC class, in my opinion.
Not in 3E, baby. Everything goes.
3E. But thank you, Flady, for your $20. And I don't know if I said Patty's Parlor Games through Adala our way. Thank you both.
Yeah, very nice. It don't matter. Just say hi. 27 cents. I don't care. So
I think the minimum is $1.
Oh, of course it is.
Now, after Rumble takes its cut, it's probably 27 cents or something.
We got to talk. Kitty's getting down a dangerous road. She says, can a mimic be anything?
No.
I would let them be, well, I don't care what the
Okay. A mimic can't be anything, but you could potentially have anything be a mimic. So, a doorway could be a mimic, but that mimic that's a doorway isn't going to change into a chest or a chair or a swimming pool. It's going to be a chest or a door. It's going to be one thing that once you try to manipulate it, it goes to.
Yeah, Flady or Malachi just stole my thunder. He said, mimic can be anything, mimic colony for the win. In the 5e adventure I ran once, mimics were pictures on the wall. There was like a dozen mimics in this room. It was pretty cool. Yep. Darth confirms.
Now, we could look up a mimic, but a mimic's not an ooze, slime, or a jelly. But we could look up the mimic. But I always thought that a mimic pretended to be a certain thing. So treasure chest, a mimic treasure chest. It's always going to be a treasure chest until you try to unlock it. Then it opens up its big old mouth and tries to make you one with the treasure chest. But I could be wrong.
What about a mimic as a house?
Well, I know that there was an adventure that you ran where it was a whole village that was all mimics.
Did I do that one? Was that mine?
Yeah, the village was a bunch of mimics. It was I can't remember if there were mimic people there. I know that there were buildings there.
Oh, they were all buildings. That's right. Every building was a mimic, and they had they had appendages that looked like people, but they couldn't really talk. Yeah, that was cool. Outhouse mimic. Yeah, there's so many good ones. Anyway, back to the sliminess. So, of the slimes, black pudding, they're the ones that can be cut into smaller pieces by chopping them up or hitting them with lightning bolts, but it's killed by fire. I noticed that they did dissolve, the black puddings dissolve wooding, metal at a pretty fast rate, but not stone. Some of the others, like green slime, these are the two that I used a lot. The green slime and the black pudding were the most common. That was a non-mobile. They called it a hazard, though they had stats for it in OD&D. I wasn't too intrigued by the stats because in almost every game, the stats for the monsters are not terribly high. What I did find peculiarly, is that a word?
Peculiarly.
Anyway, what was quite peculiar was there was no gelatinous cube. In fact, there was no gelatinous cube until first edition. Not in the books. Not in Beckme either.
Oh, okay. Well, that was way back. That's still way back when, technically.
I agree. I mean, first edition, we're talking 70s, right?
Right. So
I'm saying, I mean,
the white books. So you got the white books, and then the Beckme series of version of D&D, and then first edition, AD&D, and then how much time separated all that?
Oh God,
only a few years, right?
We're talking 74 to 77. Someone can correct.
Yeah, so a few years.
That's just 3 years, and it got because they were all the basic sets. And OD&D was the first stab, and one of the articles we're going to talk about in Dragon Magazine, Best of Dragon Magazine today. Help me out then, Malachi. Where did you see the gelatinous cube at? I didn't see it at. I could not find it in Rules Cyclopedia.
It might have had a different name.
Or OD&D.
Might have had a different name. Gelatinous Cube might have been an AD&D name, but it had been the same monster.
Yeah, I don't see it. Let's do a look-see here. I'm going to share something here. It could be that, Malachi is pretty good with the history. He may know what he's talking about. I'm not going to pretend like I'm a master of all historical knowledge. Let's see here. Though secretly I kind of am. So in OD&D, here's what you got, dude. Green slime. Is that big enough? Do I need to make it larger?
Not that big.
Oh, too big.
Well, if you were just looking at names, then that works.
Green slime, gray ooze, yellow mold. Let me go up a little bit more. Black or gray pudding. They talk about black or gray.
Looks like he says mold vase, basic, page 25. So it's not in
Rules Cyclopedia.
The Rules Cyclopedia.
Right. Okay.
But it's in the basic, the blue book.
Oh, look at that. I minimized that screen. Does that look as weird to you as it did to me?
It looks weird.
Cool. Technology's weak. Thank you, Malachi. Malachi says Mold Bay B. Oh, if it was switched to be B52. All right. It's pretty interesting. The gray ooze is the one that gets psionic power eventually.
Hold on.
What?
Page 178 in Rules Cyclopedia.
What? You are kidding me.
You are really being a boomer right now.
He's taking me to task, and that's okay. I would rather be right than just pretty. 178?
Yeah.
It's great that I'm a rock star, but I'd rather be correct too.
Maybe was the page you showed us with all that, was that just oozes? And then
that was OD&D. Now, that was OD&D. He's talking Rules Cyclopedia now. So
right. Well, you were showing us a page in Rules Cyclopedia, weren't you?
I was showing you a page in OD&D.
Oh,
what am I looking for? Gelatinous Cube? Those fudge packers. They sure did.
They hit it on you.
Yes. I'm going to have to give
so
it. What?
Is it an individual
yes.
thing?
It was there. Do you see it?
Okay. It's in alphabetical order.
Right.
I wonder how you missed that.
Well, because I got to the G's. But let me show you how. Mea culpa. This is what I'll say.
Is there an ooze section?
Here's what I'll claim. Let me go down here. For some reason, I missed the gelatinous cube. I think because, let me, bear with me. There it is. I don't know. I just missed it. No excuse.
Yeah.
Gray ooze got there. I don't see the green slime.
Green slime right there.
Where do you see it? Yeah.
Right there.
I have that. in the outline. But I just completely bonked on the gelatinous cube. All right. Thanks, Malachi. Oh, look at that crazy town.
Yeah. That's your Mac hard at work there.
Yeah. Well, Macs are superior. Even when you minimize, it has something to show you. Yeah, but I thought the gray oozes were kind of interesting. It says The gray. Let me read this one. This is from OD&D. We're bouncing around. A seeping horror which closely resembles wet stone. That's dangerous and thus difficult to detect. It will not be spread by non-harm. It will not be spread by non-harmful weapons. This is the OD&D book, but it is subject only to lightning bolts or cuts and chops by weaponry. It is impervious to cold or fire. So they.
I think you can ignore that first part because who cares? It doesn't make any sense. There's no context for it.
For what?
It will not be spread by non-harmful weapons. just put a line through that.
What is there? Can someone give me an example of a non-harmful weapon? Hold on.
If it's a weapon, it's harmful.
Okay. Violence solves everything. It's got a rumble rant. My wife got me a gift certificate from my preferred audiobook store, so I guess I can share some cash with you guys. Catch you later. Oh, man.
Where did you see that at? In Rumble?
Rumble rant, yeah.
Oh, right.
Hope he heard that. Thank you. Thank you, Violence. You're the man, the myth, the legend.
All right. Thank you, guys. That's $31 in one night.
Dude, I got to keep an eye on that place.
Together, you guys could have got together and bought somebody a ticket for beat.
That's all right. Well, we could do that with the money. I don't know. We got two guys too. I think the 14 are actually going to be 16. So, just side note.
Say that again.
I think the 14 people could probably be counted as 16. We got two more. I'm pretty sure it's coming, and we got a few dudes. Let's not go down there. Back to the Oozes. Ironcaster says you can't disrupt it with a 10-foot pole. Flady just came out with a butter knife. Butter knife would be a non-harmful weapon.
I can make a butter knife harmful.
Yeah, but maybe. Yeah, I know it's weird. Good job, Flady. I'm good with it.
There's no such thing as a non-harmful weapon. If it's a weapon, it harms you. If it doesn't harm you, it's not a weapon.
Harmful weapon. This is non-harmful.
You can make improvised weapons like a pencil or a piece of paper because you can get a paper cutter, stapler, a pointed stick. But yeah.
So anyway, I thought it was interesting when you look at the black pudding. Let me see here. Green slime and the gray ooze. They carefully construct each one being immune to a certain type of effect and being hurt by another one, lightning, fire, and cold. So each one of them, like it says, black puddings are not affected by cold. Gray oozes, how does it say? Impervious to cold or fire. Green slime, that might not be the one I was thinking of. Oh, ochre jelly can be killed by
this is a weird sentence. Did you copy paste this sentence?
Yes.
This text out of there?
I did, and sometimes it doesn't copyright. Which sentence are you looking at?
Okay. This is a whole sentence. Just let me read it all the way through. Whole sentence. It will not be spread by non-harmful weapons, comma, but it is subject only to lightning bolts or cuts and chops by weaponry, comma, for it is impervious to cold or fire. That last bit sounds like a non sequitur.
Yeah. It does not harm wood or stone. That would be the great.
Because the way sentence structure works, you could take out that part that's between the two commas.
Yeah.
And it should still read okay.
Right.
So you could read this as saying it will not be spread by non-harmful weapons, for it is impervious to cold or fire. So that doesn't make any sense.
Got another rumble rant from our boy Legion of Myth. He felt left out, so he threw us $5. Sweet. Thank you, dude.
Legion of Myth, you're the man.
Yeah, and Super Grove.
I'm sorry, I assumed your gender.
That's okay. He likes when you do that.
But yeah. I'm not sorry.
Super Grove.
I've seen your face.
70s and 80s were often devoid of editing support. Avalon Hill was the same way back then. You know, Joe and I have talked about some of the editing's not much better anyway, even the new books.
There's a lot of bad editing in the new books, but yeah, there was some stuff like this. It's odd.
Yeah.
Odd sentences.
Yeah. Jack the 71st says black puddings are excellent to use in ice-encrusted ruins or temples. So, yeah.
Oh, sure, because they do their thing even in the cold, and
Yeah.
it says they're impervious to fire.
Yeah.
So you can use them.
I guess that's a good reason to have all those. I mean, just getting them immune to all the elemental types is probably smart. So you have access to those, to the cleanup crew. Though some of them aren't some of them not affecting? No, I guess not.
Is this all the OD&D ones that you found actually in the books that you were
Yes,
looking
and then
at?
you have the yellow mold. It's the last one.
But is the yellow mold that's not a cleanup crew like the other ones are?
No, it's a fungus, and I went back and forth. I almost didn't include these, but I thought, what the heck?
It's amorphous, right?
Yeah, it is.
This is
It
a
says,
patch of goop.
yeah, it doesn't. None of them do harm to metal or stone. So they do seem like they were naturally made, where you could say they take care of a dungeon, but they could make a mess too of a dungeon. So, I mean,
if it doesn't affect, if it affects wood but does not affect metal or stone, then you wouldn't have any wooden doors after a while with these things in it. But
for sure. Yeah.
Deadly underground yellow mold is a deadly underground fungus which can be exterminated only by fire.
Yep.
It attacks wood and flesh, doing 1 dive damage if it contacts exposed skin, but does not harm metal or stone. So if you had leather armor, it would eat that up too. Right?
Yep. And its worst threat is its spores. Rough contact has a 50% chance of causing it to break and send forth clouds of asphyxiating spores. In a 10-foot by 10-foot cloud, any creature within the spore cloud must make saving throws as if they had been exposed to poison. Failure to make the saves results in death.
Save or die poison.
Save or die, suck it.
That was a hard save for young adventurers.
Yes, it was. Oh, here you go. Ryan Davis says, telltale signs there will be some sort of gooey is that you enter an area of the dungeon that has all stone doors. Yeah, true.
And if the floors are really, really clean.
Yes. You better watch it. And you better walk down those hallways carefully, because you might walk into a gelatinous cube. Apparently, you could do that in Beckme.
Yes. I think we already discussed
sorry. Halcyon H and Duncan Bradley showed up. It's good to see them.
Oh, cool. We already discussed a perfect way to use a gelatinous cube.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the bottom of a 10-foot pit.
I believe that was Ryan David's suggestion a couple weeks ago. That would be sweet.
Or you could probably rig up some kind of chase to where the person doing great goblin trap. They have a couple of goblins that start running away from the party, and the party chases them, and they have some kind of slide that they can go underneath the gelatinous cube.
That would be great.
And the party just runs right into it.
How about this? A trap door, and you fall down, I imagine like a cylinder, right? And you fall and you land maybe 20, 30 feet, enough to get hurt. And there's 4 exits, right? Out of this room, but they're all blocked by gelatinous cubes.
Oh, that's cool too. Or you drop a gelatinous cube on the party.
That would be even better. Yeah.
I mean, they don't move very fast.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to use some tricks to get them in the party, meeting up.
Thurston Howell IV, glad you stopped in. Sorry your break's up. Take care, bro.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yes. Oh, Ryan David's got some darkness in him. You can also have a gelatinous cube eat an adventure that had a ring of invisibility. I assume he's implying that then the cube would become invisible. That would be awesome.
That move deserves a nut punch.
That move is what I need to do next campaign.
They're already practically invisible unless they've got stuff. They got floaters all in it. In the lighting conditions in a typical dungeon, a gelatinous cube is really hard to see.
Our man's got a good story. Last week, a gelatinous cube with a corpse standing in it. Group that sees a guy with arm upraised, not moving. Player shouts, "Are you paralyzed?" Yeah. Everybody cracked up. Yeah. It was good to see Thurston Howell IV. We haven't seen him for a while. Must have to work on Tuesday night. His job's got problems making him work on Tuesdays. That's not good.
Shouldn't be working Tuesdays.
Now, in Beck Me, I didn't see a lot of differences. And to be honest with you, I got tired after first edition reading them, so I got a little lazy, but I hit the highlights of things that I thought were different. In Beck Me, I noticed they gave them a monster type. I loved it. A low life.
Ah.
Did you see that? Then they
No.
low lives.
I didn't know they had monster types.
Yeah, they do. I mean, gosh, man, I keep coming back. We might have to give Beck Me a run, dude. That game is sort of like, honestly, it might be arguably the best D&D. Might complete.
You can make the argument.
I
can make the argument it's better because it goes to 36.
Dude, Joe's like, if we start it, we have to go to 30. You want to go to Immortals? Actually, Immortals sounded weird. I don't think I wanted to play Immortals.
And you know, one saving grace of that version of D&D is to use the wish spell, you had to be 36 level and have an 18 intelligence, I think, something like that. You couldn't just cast it. I mean, in later editions, it's 17th level.
That's okay. Yeah, I noticed that it took you a while to get. Did you even get 9th level spells at 17th level in Beckney? I don't think you did.
I can't remember. I think they're a little more spread out, but not. I don't think it's much.
Yeah. Oh, Darth has got a trap for us. Have a pool that is 12 feet deep, filled with several gelatinous cubes and 2 feet of water on top of them. Oh,
yeah, that makes the gelatinous cubes virtually invisible. The only thing that might look funny is what might look like floaty. Well, they wouldn't be floating like they would in normal water. So if your gelatinous cubes have things in them, like they can sometimes, if you're looking at the bottom of the pool and you just see things just sitting there, you have to probably do a little bit of walking around the pool. And once you notice that things are just sitting still, you might think something's up. But that would be a cool trap.
Yeah, it would. Okay. So anyway, they did add to those 5, besides the gelatinous cube that I missed, something called a lava ooze. This monster appears as a puddle or stream of hot molten rock. Holy crap. It lives in or near a volcano. It can freely exist in the plane of fire. Duh. And they kind of answer a question we asked last week about, would you let a fire-resistant creature who's immune to magic fire be immune to lava? A lava ooze is fluid, able to, so on and so forth. You got it. Fluidy creature. It hits for 4d6 damage. That's not bad.
That just sounds like a hot earth elemental.
Well, it inflicts 3d6 points of heat damage per round for d4 rounds. Multiple hits doesn't increase the heat damage, but it does increase the duration. So if you get slapped around 3 or 4 times, yeah. Martinson's telling me something. Sounds good, Martinson. Check it out.
Yes. Okay. I want to point something out here.
Yeah.
The Rules Cyclopedia, D&D from back in the day.
Yeah.
Need to get my PDF up so you can see it better.
Yeah.
That's the image they have for the magic user.
Oh.
And that's African dude.
I'm telling you. Oh, yeah. Listen to this, though. It's immune to both normal and magical fire and to all mind attacks. What does it say? Oh, it just told me somewhere. Oh, being lava. I guess if you're immune to lava, you're immune to magical fire. It may not go the other direction. It may not be a 1-to-1 equivalence. But being lava is immune to magical fire. So I would think.
So your question about spells?
Yeah.
Up to 6th level spells, it's the same across the board in almost every version of D&D.
Yeah.
11th level for 6th level spells.
Mm-hmm.
But 7th, 8th, and 9th are spread out a bit farther. For 7th level spells, it's not till 15th. Okay. 8th level spells, not till 18th.
Oh, yeah, that is.
9th level spells, not till 21st level.
Oh, okay.
However, once you get to 36th level, you have 9 spells in all levels.
Ooh, well, that's okay, dude. 36th level, you're
Yep, you're knocking on the immortal door there.
Super Grove over at Rumble says Beck Me is great until Master Immortals. I think he means Immortals. Kind of jumped the shark. BC's become too powerful. If you're talking just about the Immortals book, I listened to Beck Me Berserker. If anybody ever checked that dude out on YouTube, really good channel. Beck Me Berserker. He talks a lot about the Beck Me. He's a big fan of Beck Me, and he described Immortals. He took I think 1 or 2 podcasts to go through it. It's a lot of extra. I'm not interested in that bull crap.
It's a totally different situation.
Correct.
Totally different game.
Correct. The game changes dramatically. Now, if you want to push it, I mean, Joe would love to just see 36 level. He wouldn't be too concerned about it. I mean, you'd probably be fine if we quit around 36 level, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I'd like to. It'd be cool to play all the way up through that.
Yeah.
So that's probably the master rules for Beck Me.
Yeah.
For those, probably it's the last 6 or 7 or 8 levels. Yeah. Probably.
I think post 36 is where Immortals begin, right?
Right. What I'm saying, he's Super Groove is saying Master Immortals. I'm thinking he's probably saying the Master rules and the Immortal rules are where Beck Me jumps the shark.
Oh.
In his opinion.
Well, high levels, you have to have a kind of a, I admit that it's hard. It would be hard. A weekly game, once you guys hit once you're burning through 7th and 8th level spells, daily, the weekly game, it's a lot of pressure on the dungeon master to think of cool stuff, but maybe not. Maybe the sessions are more about you dealing with your domain, interacting with powerful people in the world, traveling the plane. See, I'd want to take about, by 20th level, you got to be doing some planar stuff, I would think.
Right. And I'm pretty sure, Beck Me seems fairly good at throwing out high level monsters. There's a lot of high level monsters in here, and I think it'd be fine. Be cool to find out. It might break down as well, because even though you have like we were talking about, what monsters, there were old editions of old editions of D&D, the dragons can seem underpowered, but I think in Beck Me, you got dragons stretched throughout your career, even up into the upper levels, because they got some pretty high hit dice, very powerful dragons that can cast magic user and cleric spells and have lots of hit points and do lots of damage. So I don't know about other kinds of monsters, but I think it'd be of all the versions of D&D, I bet Beck Me is probably the best suited for high level play.
Yeah, if you don't want to put, and we talked about my dragon encounter last week where I put 4 hours into it, or a couple weeks ago. 3rd edition's great. I like it. I can play it to high levels, but boy, after 10th or 11th level, you got to start putting some time into it if you want the encounters to be challenging.
But that all started at first edition. First edition AD&D.
Yeah.
Once you got to double digit levels, there weren't that many challenges in the main books.
Now
to go outside.
Okay, Bruce. Okay, he says here I'm trying to prove you can run Pathfinder. You can run it, absolutely. You can. I get it. You absolutely can run Pathfinder. I've done it, dude. I played Epic Pathfinder. I used what do they call it, the Mythic tier. I've done it, but dude, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So
if it's anything like 3rd edition, it has the same problem.
It does.
2nd and 1st does.
Pathfinder has.
If you just stick with the main book and you don't really go outside of that, you'll challenge your players longer, but you're still going to have that problem. Yep. I think. Because
I think
all that stuff
will have it. I
carries over.
I've never played Beck Me all past 6th or 7th level, so I don't know. I never owned the Companion or the Masters of the Immortal, so I don't really know. I know that 1st and 2nd edition wasn't necessarily hard to run a high level campaign.
So it's work,
right? I agree, Bruce. You're not wrong. You can.
Yeah.
What a beast, or what's that beast? The template, something of beast, Tome of Beast templates, whatever. The one he loves.
Advanced Bestiary.
Yeah, you got to be creative, and Bruce is down with that. And I was at one time during the heyday of 3rd edition. I was more than happy to have 12, 15, 17, 22nd level characters. I don't give a crap. Let's do it. You just got to.
I'm not saying that Beck Me is what I just said.
Right. You think
I'm saying I think it might be from all appearances, but
I think what
be
you're
wrong.
saying is we'll never know until we just sit down and do it.
Yes.
And so
I mean, I'm talking out of the box. I'm not talking about having to do a bunch of, jump over a lot of hoops or hurdles to make it work. Just, you got your rule cyclopedia and a pencil and dice, and you're good. Paper.
Yeah, Super Grove over at Rumble says Beckme lends to mass combat scenarios also. It has some of that built in. Bruce says the advanced bestiary is just the tip of what you must learn, young guy.
The tip. Just the tip.
Just the tip. So yeah, Beckme was pretty good. I like the lava ooze. It had the ochre jelly, the yellow mold, had the others. Apparently it had the gelatinous cube. Now that we've agreed that it has the gelatinous cube, give me just un moment. And I want to get that gelatinous cube up on the overhead because I want to check this dude out because I didn't do
on the overhead. Did you say on the overhead?
on the what's that we used to use? Mimeograph. Hold on, I'm gonna get
they called it on the overhead because
yeah. I'm gonna get a mimeograph. I'm gonna get a mimeograph.
A light box with a mirror that projected that just projected very simple images up on a screen.
So a lot of the oozes had poopy armor class, which is fine. They shouldn't have good armor class. Hit dice is 4. Doesn't seem like a lot to me. This for gelatinous cube. Can move through rooms and dungeons. What was its speed? Move 60. Oh, it can move pretty fast. In Beckme, 60 feet around. Is that what that is? I don't know. What's the parentheses? Is that?
Yeah, but I think humans are 120.
Okay. So I got to re-look at the speeds of Beckme. Any successful hit will do damage. Will also paralyze unless you make a save. Last 2d4 rounds. Continue attacking until you die. Harmed by fire and weapons. That's not that deadly. It's really not. It seems deadly, but I don't think it's that deadly. My experience is. Oh, jeez, I keep doing this. Sorry, guys.
You're gonna break somebody's brain doing all that.
Yeah.
Just let you know.
Jack the 71st. Teacher, can we get it up on the light box? Yeah. That's me, dude. I think oozes and stuff lose their sting pretty quickly in terms of lower level foes. I think in some ways this is going to be a heresy. I won't say 4th, but 5th edition and 3rd edition, I think they actually handle the oozes better than the earlier editions because they made some of them hazards, and that was superior.
Yeah, they turned them into hazards. They're not really creatures. They're just, like no more. They can be still dangerous, but they're not creatures. They're just things. Objects.
Yeah, I have little to nothing to say, and I'll just say it right now. In 4th edition, there were none of these in the monster manual that I could find. I actually had to find something called a Doom Sphere on page 88 of the 4th edition DMG. It was listed as a level 3 obstacle. And I found the green slime and what was called a black pudding town swallower under homebrew at the D&D wiki page for 4E. The book itself, I didn't find. I even looked through the traps and hazards in the DM's guide. If someone, maybe Malachi can correct me on this. I didn't see any monsters and no slimes and oozes in 4E. So,
yeah, it's kind of weak sauce to turn them into hazards. Most of these things, you would think potentially they could be hazardous throughout a character's life.
Yeah,
lifespan, right?
They should
throughout the game span because
be.
they're acid, unless you get some specific immunities through gear or whatever. So if you become immune to acids, most of these things won't hurt you, except for maybe the mold, the ochre jelly, the mold, because it has the spores.
Yeah.
But anything that's basically an acid in blob form of acid of one kind or another, you become immune to acid. They're no big deal. But apart from that, I guess you could say that what your saving throw does is you are able to avoid it. So if it falls off the ceiling, like green slime
Green
tends to
slime
do,
is definitely, it's not intelligent. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't even seek out prey other than noticing vibrations. It doesn't move.
right?
I really think
Well, it has to. It has to move on some level.
for itself as a hazard. Well, how is it described? Let me look in the ode. You know what? Let's get a more.
Because if the green slime falls off of the ceiling and misses your character,
Yeah.
once you've avoided it, you go away, or maybe you burn it. If you don't burn it and destroy it,
Mm-hmm.
it eventually probably ends up back on the roof.
Well, hold on. Let's do this. Let's
The ceiling.
let's read the first. Let's read the first edition entry if I can get to it quick. I'm trying to get to because first edition added a few more juicy slime balls. Let's see here. Here we go. I did love the picture in the first edition monster manual. This I do like. Let's see. Present slimes.
In the rule cyclopedia, it's really, really slow.
Yeah.
It has a movement speed of 3, but it does move.
Well,
there it says 0.
Correct. So green slime is 0 in first edition. So maybe back in other places it did. It says that green slimes are a strange plant growth. They cannot move. Slowly growing, feeding. They are sensitive to vibrations. I guess that's where I got my memory from. You know, I cut my teeth on 1E, so a lot of my memory, and I got to be careful when I'm reviewing these, is mostly first edition. I tend to remember the first edition stuff more as far as the monsters go. But yeah, I still think like what slimes? Any of these slimes? I don't think any of them move fast at all.
No, they're not supposed to.
This was a new one though. Check this one out. There's the gray ooze. They get yeah. You see that?
No, because you moved it past. I can't see its movement rate on there. There we go.
I'm talking.
Move. That's the one that's moved 1.
I'm talking
Sonic ability. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where the ooze got a little nothing to write home about, but just a nice little surprise, little gray ooze action. How about a little sonic blast while we're hanging out? And that damage got
whatever the E. Do you know what the E attack mode is?
I do not, but I'm sure it was juicy. If not, it was at least fun. I'm sure that I just changed it out for sonic blast.
Of course, you would just cheat like that.
Hold on a second. I also want to find. Sorry, I don't want to lose people here. Let me see where I'm at. I'm losing myself. Monster Manual 1, where did you go? Sorry. There was also the Gas Spore. Now that was a pretty groovy creature.
Yeah, but that's not an ooze, is it?
Well, I put it in there.
It's a beholder, ringer. You think it's a beholder? You swing your sword, and is that what I'm thinking of?
Yes. Again,
ball of gas.
Yeah, Monster Manual 1 has the best. Well, not the best. I just remember it the best.
It has the dude swinging its sword, and it's partially in it.
Yeah. It's a lot like a yellow mold. Look, it has 1 hit point, right? Armor class 9. When it shoots out, you take 3 to 18 damage. A 20-foot radius takes 6 to 36 damage. And you get these shoots of tiny rhizomes into your skin. And in 1 round, what else? Let's get a cure disease or die, sprouting 2 to 8 gas spores. Dude.
There's no saving throw.
Yes, you get a saving throw in the explosion. So if it is struck for even 1 point of damage, it explodes. Its gaseous content reacts violently to air, and every creature within 20 feet radius takes 6 to 36 points of damage. And if a gas
where's it saying anything about a saving throw? Oh, there it is.
There it is. But it says, if gas. Now, there you go. How do you determine that? If gas spores make contact with exposed flesh, the spore shoots. Oh, maybe that's the attack that it makes. You see what I'm saying? It says, if a gas spore makes contact.
Right, so it has to actually run into you.
It dies immediately. Oh, okay. So do you want to take a chance on it exploding, or do you want to take a chance on it touching you and you happen to?
Yeah, so its explosion doesn't put spores in you. It has to contact you with its outer skin, and then it injects its spores into you.
I like Jack the 71st strategy. We had the gas spores that were seeded by beholders. That would make sense. They would have them in their lair for sure. Yeah.
Got to kill the beholder. Boom. But a canny adventurer will shoot an arrow at it.
Super Grove on Rumble says he was Crush, so probably Psychic Crush. I don't remember what that did. I don't remember those hardly at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of interesting. Another thing that first edition brought into the mix was violet fungi, yellow mold, a variant of brown mold. I think brown mold, one of them absorbed heat and grew larger. So like if you fireballed a brown mold, it would,
I remember that.
Yeah. But that was about,
I don't remember which one it was, but I remember that thing happening. So oozes, slimes, and jellies, and then later on they added fungus. So we're throwing fungus in there too. And it's a little bit more of a complex creature, but not much. Because it actually has the spore thing going on.
All these creatures either eat you or hit you and grow crap in you. I mean, they're just like, they're quite at least visually or in your mind, they're some of the more gross creatures.
Now, what if you had the green slime where it would, could eat people?
Right.
But it somehow could be like the blob.
Oh, kept growing.
So when it ate you, it became bigger.
Yeah.
Because that's not normally what it does. It just kills you and keeps living. Like most people, most of us, until we're older and we lose our metabolism, we don't get bigger from eating things. I mean, there's a limit to it. But the blob, there's no limit. As soon as it starts eating people, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It becomes as big as bigger than a house.
Yeah.
But that would be an interesting monster. I don't know. I guess it would only be interesting from the DM's point of view, because once you've eaten all the PCs, you can just say it got bigger, and no PCs would be alive to really enjoy that situation.
Yeah, for sure. So along comes second edition. They do a little better job categorizing the beasts, and they really expand the slimes and the molds. Let's see here. So they have a category: oozes, slimes, and jellies. Let me present arms here.
That's second edition?
Second edition. Yeah. So 2E came along.
Yeah.
And brought us this for fun.
Yes.
So you have olive slimes, olive slime creature, mustard jelly, stun jelly. That's not all. And then you come down to ochre jelly, gray ooze, crystal ooze, gelatinous cube, green slime. So they put all the slimes together, which is good for reference.
Crystal.
Yeah. Crystal ooze. Yeah. I don't know much about that. I just looked at the main ones, but yeah, look at the armor classes consistently poop. That makes sense. None of the hit dices were particularly formidable. They literally gave green slime 0 hit dice. I guess because it doesn't really. That's weird.
Well, they gave it. That's where it becomes a hazard instead of a creature.
But its Thaco is 2. No, is that right? No, its Thaco's 19. Okay. No attacks. Yeah.
That's movement. That's movement, dude. That's not hit dice.
Am I misreading something? Oh, thank you.
Hit dice is 2.
Thank you. Okay, it's like it has no hit dice. How is it alive? Yeah. But there's a good classic gelatinous cube. But I like that they categorized them all together. There's definitely, as I look at it in the old games, if I were going to play an older version of D&D, I would probably be battling between Beckme and second edition, honestly. That would be my draw. Though I'd probably want to change some of the rules because they could be kind of annoying. So I didn't like some of the changes. Oh, the slithering tracker. That was kind of a cool new beast. Look at it. Living plasma. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So Transparent plasma draining jellies found in many dungeons. The unique nature of the tracker gives them the distinct advantage of being able to slip through cracks and holes as small as a rat hole. I think they hunt people down as one of their things.
Oh, that's a different kind of beastie there because it would be fairly intelligent.
Yeah, I think they should probably have an intelligence score somewhere there. Yeah, it looks like average, 8 to 10.
Yeah, so that pretty much makes it not one of these things.
Well, not exactly. I mean, it still falls in the category because of
it's amorphous for sure.
It's amorphous.
But it doesn't have the same. It doesn't have the same mechanic as an ooze or a jelly otherwise, because most of them are stationary until you interact with it or walk under it or in it.
Yes.
That one seeks you out.
Yeah.
And if it looks like the picture there, it has the little eyeball thingies there, evil eyes. I mean, the other ones don't really have any of that.
Yeah. Yeah, they expanded. I remember the Shriekers. I used to like using those Shriekers. That'd be plants that would be.
Oh yeah, always with the Shriekers. You go into a dungeon, there's a Shrieker.
Well,
alerting the entire freaking dungeon.
Which is any smart villain, knowing he's going to be set upon by adventurers, would probably plant Shriekers. In certain places.
I guess, except you might run into the situation where they're always shrieking.
True, it might annoy him as well. True,
right?
That's a good point. But they added those. They added. What else do they have? A few new molds. Let's see. Let me go back. Cover your eyes, guys, if you're easily.
This one isn't so bad.
Okay.
It's the art that's kind of subdued.
I was kind of surprised that I almost went with the Myconeds, but they're definitely more like the slithering tracker. Yeah, they're more of those.
They're more like an aberration, if you want to classify it like a 3rd edition monster.
Yeah. Where are the molds here? I'm getting close. There's Mold Man, the Vegapig.
So mold may be above it.
Yeah, probably is. So you get to the molds. Brown, now they got russet and yellow. So, here you go. The brown absorbs heat, and the yellow affected only by fire. Okay. And there was probably some more up here too. No, that was it. That was your mold. So 2nd edition essentially just added a few more things. Again, crappy armor class, but, some different issues that they could cause. So pretty same.
Yeah, who said that? I can't remember.
What's that?
I collect spores, molds, and fungus. Is that not Venkman? What's the other guy? Isn't that a Ghostbusters
If
reference?
Demo was on it, he would know.
It's not Venkman. It's the other guy with the glasses.
Yeah. The guy that was Ramis. Well, Harold Ramis was the actor.
Yeah.
Egon.
Yeah. There we go. We got it. We got it before he showed it.
Just barely. Ghostbusters over on Rumble. People were hollering. I got to get back there. Gartheic, I agree. I love the art in that. I do too. I like 2nd edition art. It wasn't great, but it was good. There was something charming about it. All right. 3rd edition was kind of interesting. A lot. The molds and the slimes were put into the Dungeon Master's Guide under the dungeon ecology. They were hazards, which I think is kind of good because they don't do much in terms of seeking you out. But they did have stats for the pudding and the cube and the ooze and the jelly. I don't know if it's worth
these. Like we were saying earlier, these are good monsters for ambushes.
Yeah,
that's what they normally will do. They'll ambush.
They really are. Yeah, and let me see if I can. Where is my 3rd edition? Give me a moment here, Joe. Talk with the people while I look for something. I may have gotten rid of my 3rd edition.
You're talking to people?
You should be talking to people.
Sounds like potatoes.
Russet
potatoes, yellow potatoes.
Yeah. Oh, let's see here.
Potato.
Give me a second. I'm trying to get to the page. I don't think there was much difference in 3rd edition. I did like how they put them. I like how they put them as hazards, mostly the molds and the slimes, but they kept the black puddings and such as monsters, and that's probably appropriate because those things can come after you. Like with purpose, even if they're not truly, that intelligent. Look at this though. So black puddings were huge, 115 hit points. Then there was the elder black pudding, which if I was
Gargantuan.
dude, gargantuan, 20 dice, 290 hit points. Very slow, -5 initiative.
That could be a town killer right there.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it was a gargantuan, the size of a big dragon. Look at this.
Well, yeah.
26.
2d8 plus 12, that'll kill any villager.
Plus 2d6 acid.
Improved grab. Yeah, he's sucking up all the villagers.
Yeah, he is. He got no time for that. He's about to put the villagers down. What is his they have what's his intelligence? Dash. Yeah. But dude, check the con of the strength out.
I'm gonna call BS on that though.
What do you mean?
Because yes, it's an ooze. Does it have a movement? It has a 20-foot move. No, yeah, speed of 20 feet.
Mm-hmm.
To actually move somewhere, it has to have intelligence of some kind. If it's moving,
I would make these guys animal intelligence, really kind of super instinctual.
At least one, because plants, while they don't really move, they grow, they spread. That ooze right there, it actually goes from point A to B. And for you to go from point A to B, you have to want to go to point B.
Yeah. And that's where I think they fit. That's why I think these creatures, I'm with you. I disagree the intelligence. All of them get intelligence dash. Look at that. So
let's say a green slime. Typically the green slime is stuck to the ceiling.
Yep.
Right. And then it feels vibrations and then opportunistically drops where it feels those vibrations. And so it can have food. That makes sense for it to be non-intelligent. But for it to have a 20-foot movement speed and be able to get around to get its food, it's got to have some sort of intelligence. Even if it's more like an animal. I would say it would be on the low end of animal.
Okay.
Oh, yes. DM Blackwell, welcome. Greetings, fellas. How do you feel about the false door and horde wars? Joe, he's talking to me because I'm the important one. Well, I played a lot more than Randy did.
He knows I read it though. I care.
Yeah. So the false doors. I can't remember specifically, Mr. DM Blackwall, if it was an ooze or if it's more like a mimic. Because when you attack it, when it attacks you, its attack is a grab and it swallows you, and now you're on the inside getting digested. That sounds more like a mimic than an ooze. But it was cool. It's a cool monster. So essentially, it looks like a door, and you go to unlock the door. A mimic style ooze. Okay. You go to unlock the door or check it for traps or whatever you interact with the door, and then it swallows you. It's interesting that it has the space in it to have a stomach of some kind, but it stays flat against a wall. So I don't know if there's a recess behind it, if it finds a recess to cover and all that. That's a lot more like a mimic than an ooze.
Yeah, but
it's cool. That's a cool illustration. I really like that.
Yeah, I really like it. I can't wait, man. Get that game out, dude.
Yeah.
Joe and I are dying to play it.
So I guess it covers a recess. Like, so if there's a naturally occurring kind of an alcove, it'll cover that up and make it look like there's a door there. But it's really just a stomach, and you get sucked in when you try to interact with it. It's a cool monster. Very mimic-like.
Arnman says intelligence 1 is animal intelligence. I agree. Yeah. And Darth says with monsters, I always look at an intelligence with the dash as it runs entirely off instinct, has no real thought process. That's not a bad way to do it, but Joe's making a technical point that it does seem weird that it wouldn't have some kind of intelligence because it does seek out food and stuff.
If it's making decisions, it has some sort of even rudimentary intelligence.
Legion of Myth makes an argument. He says on Rumble, so a paramecium has an intelligence of 1.
I don't know.
They seek out food. I don't know.
Okay, so any sort of microscopic organism that eats food often uses some either flagella, or they suck in fluid and then squirt it out its butt to do movement to get from A to B. And all of that is usually just filtering the fluid that they're in for nutrients. So I don't think that's the same action that we're describing for that gargantuan black pudding.
I just googled 5e and they say 1e is kind of one intelligence is an animalistic sort of thing, no reason or logic. Someone said that. I think that was Darth. Yeah, dudes. DM Blackwall is aiming for September for basic Horde Wars. Be on the lookout on BGE for that. You will not be disappointed.
It will be exclusively on BGE for
baby.
At least for a time. I don't think. Okay, when it has a movement rate, if its movement is entirely random, then fine, not intelligent. But if it and all these things like a paramecium, all that, they just float on through and go whatever direction, and they filter the fluid that they're in for their nutrients. If a black ooze goes toward a target, so if you encounter a black ooze and you can just go around it and its movements are erratic, then I would say 1 intelligence.
Yeah.
But that would make the monster not interesting.
What? Not having intelligence?
If its movement is totally random.
Oh, random, right.
All you have to do is back up. It doesn't move fast, and you're always going to be able to get away from or get around it. You're always going to beat it.
Darth says, running off instinct, it would attack any movement, even if it's just something falling over. Sure. DM Blackwell, this is evil. In 5e, I ran a gelatinous cube that had a human level intelligence and ran a thieves guild. Nice.
Let's say that again.
In 5e,
oh, there it is.
You ran a gelatinous cube that had human level intelligence.
Yeah, I thought one of the more interesting things when I was watching some YouTube video, and they just the phrase was intelligent gelatinous cube, and I was like, oh, that's what that I'm going to put in a dungeon, because that would be great. And Rapanathuk has an intelligent. Is it a gelatinous cube, or it's a mimic? It's a toilet mimic. What are you doing?
What am I doing? Go, quit doing that. I can't let this guy do anything, man.
I'm already big enough as it is. Don't make me bigger. So yeah, it was a toilet mimic. It got turned into a super duper toilet mimic because
yep.
Staff of the Magi was broke in its vicinity and imbued it with power.
Yeah, but back real quick about Horde Wars being exclusively on BGE. I mean, once they hit it big, they're probably going to have to move on. I mean, once they're making millions of dollars, they can't just stay at Big Geek Emporium.
No, they can just leave those millions of dollars in BGE's coffers.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's beside the point. What is this? The best mimic ever at Biggest Geekus. Dungy is the best. I don't know Dungy.
Is it I think it's the name of the one that I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
We've talked about it on stream a couple times.
We encountered him, didn't we? At Cabin Con 2 years ago?
Yep. Sure did.
He was pretty heinous, dude. We could not defeat him. Oh, man. Okay, and so then, as I said, 4E didn't do anything. 4E was ridiculously weird. with these guys. Again, I like them as hazards, the slimes and molds, but there were no puddings. There were nothing that I could find in the 4E core monster manual. I did find a Doom Sphere in the DMG, as I said. Also, 5E has none in their monster manual. And the DMG, page 105, had green slime for brown yellow mold, I think, for hazards. Which, that's not the worst. But if you don't have gelatinous cube, you don't have black pudding, you got to have those things. But they weren't in the core monster manual. So that was kind of weird.
Well, they you never know. They probably just wanted different things, so they only wanted so much. They had an X amount of space, but how many monster manuals did they have for that version of the game?
For fourth edition?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I understand when you have different versions of the game, the first monster manual in that game often has, the first monster manual for AD&D, the first monster manual for first edition, and for second edition, and for third edition. They all have slightly different sets of monsters because you have different people running the show.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, we don't want any of these in here. We want to put more interesting monsters, in their opinion, and they just have a different lineup. But sometimes they appear in different books later on. Well, I know in third edition, it took a long time for the Flump to show up.
Oh, well, that was okay.
If it ever did.
Looks like Legion is leaving. He's having bad storms there, so he's out.
Stay safe.
Yep, be cool, bro. Bruce said, yeah, that's the one.
Apparently, fourth edition had many monster manuals.
So did third. Third edition. Good Lord. There's 5, 6. And if you count the, can you still hear me?
Huh?
The Lords of Madness and Tyrants of Hell, they had about 8 or 9 third edition monster manuals. So,
okay.
Yep. They had 5 monster manuals.
That's pretty good.
Dude, I loved it. What was I going to say? Someone made a comment and I wanted to, I must have missed it.
According to Bruce, only I regret the Flump not being included in the basic monster manual.
Well, 5th edition would have been better, and so will 6th edition. If they just come to Biggest Geekus, watch all our monster mashes, then they will see what monsters need to be in the first book.
Right. I'm not saying I regret it not being there. I'm just saying different designers have different design intentions or plans for D&D when they make their books. So
Lords of Madness is a syllabus that everyone should read. Correct, sir. You win.
That's a 4th edition book?
No. That's
a 3rd edition. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Libris Mortis, all those books were excellent.
Yeah. Good for the DM.
Yep.
Don't let the players run any of those classes in there.
No, that's foolish. That's foolish. All right. So I think that's the edition. That's all I wanted to say. You got anything else you wanted to say about them monster-wise through the editions?
No, I mean, I'll just say overview-wise, they didn't change a whole lot.
No.
I know that in 4th edition, it's 4th edition where they first became, like you said, they just became
third edition used them as hazards. I don't dislike
hazards.
It.
Third edition.
I don't dislike it.
I didn't like that.
I didn't mind it.
But they didn't operate that much different.
Right.
They weren't described as monsters, but they were described as a hazard, and they did damage and all that.
That's for Malachi. You can't hardly see that, but yes.
No.
Let me hit my light again.
Well, you can turn it on. I wouldn't hit it.
I'm knocking the crap out of it. And I got my halo again? I do, don't I?
Yeah.
That doesn't help much. How's that?
That's way better.
That's way better. That's a little better, ain't it?
It's just the way your camera handles that. It's flare. Anyway,
it's a Mac, right?
I think that they're not all that different through the editions.
Yeah.
So, but I think they're interesting creatures or non-creatures, depending on how you want to use them.
Okay. Anyway.
So, We've gone through all the additions. Favorite examples?
Oh, we got to do. Yeah, I think we kind of talked about the ecology. Yeah,
Ecology.
Yeah,
I
but
like them in a couple as dungeon cleaning crew, or as far as ecology.
Yeah.
I guess that's one of the biggest thing. It wouldn't be completely clean. They would be there would be all the organic stuff. Although I guess it wouldn't be because the oozes leave trails, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
wouldn't just. There would probably be stuff on the floor, not anything recognizable. Streams of ick all over the place.
Yeah.
So, I guess they aren't really the the cleaning crew that we're thinking of.
Yeah. For me, I like the slimes, the molds, and some of the others. The slimes and the molds, basically the fungus that don't move. I like them as hazards. They can do the same thing, but I like them as hazards. But I'm with you. Rest is kind of dungeon ecology. There are things that just make life very miserable. I I might every once in a while get a wild hair and do like DM Blackwall and have an intelligent black pudding do something, but mostly, yeah, just kind of crazy. Lady says, gotta upgrade Randy to a chocolate music phone. What is that? Is that some cool?
Idea.
Should I be talking more into the microphone? Is that better?
I have no idea. Don't get the reference.
Okay, I'm not sure.
Why wouldn't a druid want nothing but slimes, oozes, and cubes to help him curate the dungeon of all the vicious dust? I don't know. Curate the dungeon of all the vicious dust bunnies and leftovers from adventuring bands of mercenaries, because they're actually going to leave ick behind them. I don't think an ooze, leaves an immaculately clean floor underneath it, and I don't think it'd do anything with dust. So
maybe
you could in your variant world say when you have your gelatinous cube rolling around your dungeon that it leaves spick and span behind, kind of that fresh citrus smell of cleaning fluid. That would be an interesting gelatinous cube. Gelatinous cube, citrus flavor.
Malachi, of course, brings in the gelatinous cube, the Roomba of dungeons. Dude, Darth is a man after my own heart, but he's too kind. Put any slime in a glass bottle, potion bottle, have it setting in with other potions, as long as they test and identify. Why would they be okay? I make my PCs drink to test them. Dude, how about you have a bunch of potion bottles, each one with a different slime or ooze in it?
Well, if you detect magic first,
yes,
you're going to have to put a ringer on that potion bottle with the slime because it's not going to come up magic. So you detect magic. Oh, you see 5 potion bottles, and then you open up the bottle and there's a slime in there after you've drank it down your throat, and you're going to punch the DM in the head because a slime is not magic.
Dude,
so,
well,
and then the DM will say, "Well, I had a little residual magic in there, quote unquote."
I think that's great. Then they're not magic. Good. Do that. Most time you guys don't do detect magic.
Okay.
You guys just sip a potion. But I usually tell you that, honestly,
I've got a clue. I'm going to start detecting magic everything now. There's a bag there. Detect magic. It's not magical. Be very careful.
Joe's wizard memorizes 12 detect magics.
Maybe we should have a spell called Detect Creature.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think that would be the reason why they're not used as that.
Yeah.
Because they are going to leave trails of ick all over the place. They're not going to be clean. So most creatures are not going to want these things in their abode. Unless they're, someone mentioned it already at some point about being the ooze master.
Yes.
Being ooze master, they'll be okay with those things.
Yeah, they'll love it. Hey, Six Nations, Three Kings,
That is
31
a druid,
Kings. Ethan,
isn't it? Wasn't the Ooze Master a druid subclass or
I believe that's what.
variant?
Yeah, I believe so. So let's get to the favorites. What are your favorites examples that you've used or seen used? What's up? Glad you made it, Six Nations.
6 Nations, 31 Kings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that means, but welcome. He's been here before.
Oh yeah, I
recognize that moniker.
Yeah, for sure. He's also a lot on, I think, Max's show and other ones. He's around. You can find him.
He's around.
He show up. So what would you say? Give me some your favorite examples, Joe. You recall?
Oh, I think you might have it in here with the hallway covered by water death trap.
That's classic. That's the white plume.
Thing is, though, instead of immediately knowing that your foot is now halfway gone, it was like, oh, Joe, you're up to your knees and you're not sure where your legs have gone.
To be fair, if you had boots on, it wouldn't be the first round.
Yeah, it would.
No.
As soon as you start getting eaten, you're going to know it.
Yes, but if you had boots on, they have to eat through the boots first.
Right, and then you can be stuck, but at least you know something's up. That as soon as you start getting eaten. But I don't think, in the example I remember, you let me know until my lower legs were gone.
I had half the party down the hall before I told you.
Yeah.
That was not cool of me.
No.
Six Nations says it is a play on his real name. Okay. Cool. Are your anagrams showing? No, that's something else. You got a little strategy there.
But you have a gas spore example here?
Yeah, I had a gas spore one time. It wasn't very exciting, but I realize now that I just cheated you guys left and right. Because now that we read the gas spore and I realized it has to touch you to do the injection, I think it had to blow up and it injected the whole party.
Yeah, you did.
And I feel just about everybody, because you guys were like, and I remember when you saw it, you guys were like, oh my God, it's a beholder. And Joe's like, I cast a spell. And you're like, you magic missiled it. And you're like, yeah, I didn't give it the eyeball. And it blew up and it hit everybody. That was great.
Good times.
Notice Joe's like, good times. Punch.
No, but the gas spore blowing up, you saw gas spores are almost always in fairly low level dungeons.
Yes.
But gas spores, in that version of the game, I played wizards a lot, and I did not like gas spores because the gas spore blows up, your wizard's dead.
Yes.
Almost always.
Pretty much guaranteed. I also had one where I did this recently at VentureCon 1 last year. That's recent, last year, in 2022. This was in Castle Amber. There was they call it a giant amoeba, but it basically was like a gelatinous cube. And you fought that thing, Joe. You guys did really well. And I remember it was like 15 hit dice, but you guys were pimped out 6-level characters. So, but I thought it was a really cool encounter. It was inside of that pond at like a park, and it had like two sort of creatures like dolphins spitting up water, statues, and it was flat down in this, because the pond was about maybe 2 feet deep, and it was just waiting for somebody to jump in, but nobody would do that.
Well, a giant amoeba isn't that much different from a gelatinous cube.
Not really.
Just a different shape. But
that's exactly.
They pretty much do the same thing. They absorb you and try to eat you.
Yeah, I think it had several pseudopods it could attack with, but so does the gelatinous cube. So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
It doesn't just sit there and wait for you to jump inside of it.
No. But okay, anything else? Any other big things you can remember with the? You guys avoided a lot of them.
Yeah.
You guys would see it, you'd be like, just stay the heck out of here.
Well, I mean, if you put a bunch of spores, oozes, and jellies in a dungeon hallway, what's depending on what level you are, is not worth even trying because you're going to die.
Rejoice 85 is reminding me of one. She said, didn't you? That's me. let us keep a sentient demonic ooze. I think it was a gray ooze, Rejoice, in a bottle once, and it was always hungry.
Oh, I remember something about
But
that.
somebody was like, had kind of befriended it. It had a mental, it was psionic, and it talked to you, and you guys sort of befriended it, and you kept it in the bottle. And after a while, you had it for maybe a couple of hours, and then someone asked, "What are we going to do when we go to sleep? Can it get out of the jar?"
I remember that
And,
question.
and then someone goes, the friend was like, "Well," I say, "Hey, would you step out for a minute?" And it just untwisted the jar and came out and said, "Hey, what's up?" And you guys, "Oh crap, it's got to go."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah, it was a gray ooze, is what it was, and it was smart. And because I always thought they're psionics, they should be smart. So, but anyway, yeah. All right. How about any alternate takes? You got any alternate takes for us? That's how we usually wrap up these monster mashes. It's an alternate way you might use these, a different approach.
The biggest alternate thing you can do, the best alternate thing you can do with these oozes is to make them intelligent.
That would be really good.
Yeah. I mean, we've already discussed different ways to use them, which involve essentially traps.
Yeah.
So, you can use them as weapons, right? So if you have some green slime, you put it in a potion bottle like you were talking about. If you have a green slime in a potion bottle, you can always just throw that on somebody.
Yeah, dude, that
would be acid. But would it be?
I think it was Iron Man a while back said they used to put them in like, I'm sure they were like trebuchets and throw buckets of green slime over castle walls. That would be now you got to get rid of it.
I wouldn't want to be the one in charge of wrangling green slime.
No.
Because that would be so. I mean, in if there was such a thing as green slime, and you actually tried to wrangle it into a container and then try to throw it somewhere,
oh my god,
it's going to be very prone. You're going to be prone to getting eaten by the green slime.
Yeah, you would need.
You have to be very careful.
You'd want to use like what's it called, a mortar and pestle, or what's that called? You would want to use stone something, like a stone jar to put it in.
Right. I mean, in the modern day, you probably could get away with glass, but you never know.
Dude, you don't want to be handling that stuff.
It'd be very dangerous to try to use as that volume.
Yep. I had a
you
couple.
Have to be very careful.
I had a couple of these. You probably see them. I had what if oozes and slimes were side effects of casting powerful spells? When wizards tap into the magic of a far-off dimension, think Far Realm, Cthulhu, then these creatures show up either at the end of the casting or during. It's kind of the dross of the spell. It's like dude, I just finished casting this cool summoning spell, and bloop, you got a black pudding. This came out of somewhere. Anytime you tapped into the Far Realm, Joe don't like that.
So this is it. That was actually an accident, but it was perfect timing.
It was perfect.
So for those who were listening and not watching, when he started talking about this magic side effect Oozies thing, I turned off his picture. Anyway,
that's cool. Not for every spell. Maybe summoning spells. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, yeah, because summoning spells are weird. You can make them your monsters are ectoplasmic, and then that's kind of a leftover. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about this? Folks are cursed by the gods or consequences of magical backfire. So you get turned into these oozes, and they're nearly indestructible. Each one is a unique creature. So they were either a cursed person or a wizard or somebody that cast a spell and got a backfire.
Hey, what is the deal with spells here?
Joe,
cast a spell, become an ooze. Cast a spell, drop an ooze.
Only do
right next to you.
I only do that. I love you, Joe, because you're my dude. That's why I do that. Joe hasn't played a wizard in 20 years because of fear. Randy Shriekers.
Because of you.
There could be a way to maybe get the poor sods back. Who knows? So, then my last one is, what if oozes and slime? Now, this is my Planescape showing, my little Planescape stuff. Too bad Max is gone. What if oozes and slimes didn't actually kill you? But when you were absorbed or dissolved by the creature, you were actually transported to another realm or plane. They could be portals to other worlds that activate only when living flesh completely got covered by them.
Well, if you knew you had to go there, you'd just jump into a green slime. Ouch.
Yeah. Like in the D&D movie where they jump into the gelatinous cube. That was dumb. But, yeah, but still. Bruce makes a good point. Joe needs to play a wizard in DCC, and let's see his mutation list after name level. Yeah, see his mutation left after 3rd level. DCC is hardcore, dude. Hardcore.
Right, that's part of DCC. But I wouldn't want that to be just whenever.
I think it was in Planescape. Like there were like ooze methods and steam methods, and there were planes of ooze. There were ooze portals.
I got to calm down one of my dogs.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah. Violence solves everything at Rumble says you get killed by an ooze slime, you become one. Yep. Yes, organic black holes. Correct, Flady. Also on Rumble. Yeah, Flady's bouncing back and forth. Yeah, Joe had to go get his dog settled. Dar says, now that is different, but anything made of metal and stone does not get teleported. That's why it's left in the cube. Yeah. So you get plane shifted to the abyss without your swords and armor. Yeah, I would probably not do that to someone. I mean, I would do it to Joe, but I wouldn't do it to my average player. Six Nations says, it's a cool mechanic, but if I was an average plebe seeing it, I'd stay far away from magic and spell slingers. Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful. I mean, that would make, I think oozes, if magical backfire was due to some dramatic, complex ritual you perform, trying to do something crazy, and it fails, or if you're cursed by the gods, that's kind of how I see it. I don't mean every spell would give you a chance of turning into an ooze. Though you could do that if you wanted to go crazy with the whole DCC.
You do.
Okay, I do. True. Good point. Joe's not. That's actually, I meant that completely. I would just screw every wizard I could. Well, I would hose every Joe wizard that I could. Other people's wizards would get stabs and stuff. So
hopefully they're calm. If they start their bark fest again, I'll have to take them out.
Yeah, Bruce, you make a good
or throw them into a green slime.
Right. That would be great. Bruce says, I love how it works, but I would not want to have that be something with my game I'm writing. I want people to enjoy being wizards, not watching their body deteriorate like a Lovecraft nightmare. Yeah, it's the shtick of DCC. Those that have played DCC, has anybody played a 10-level game where someone
I think it'd be cool to do, once.
I think it'd be fun, but I mean, I think there's too much. I know I played at VentureCon, my first chance to play a non-funnel DCC game, and it was fun. But my very first adventure, I got turned into an eyeball. I was literally an eyeball rolling around half the dungeon. That wasn't.
I played a spellcaster, and he didn't become anything weird. He didn't do his. I didn't roll particularly crazy for any of his spells, so they would just, for the most part, were just standard results. So I don't remember. When I looked through, or I'm trying to remember doing the spells, and I pretty much middle of the road on all the rolls.
Yeah.
So nothing crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, but like we had a guy, I think I mentioned at VentureCon, we had a guy, might have been Jeff. He had a first level wizard guy. He had a low level, just like a read magic or some kind of read rune spell. And it had some effect where that every time he cast it, that's how Joe does.
Yes. Yes. My DM mutated me once. Once.
I'm out.
That's a movie reference for those who are not paying attention.
Yeah. Anyway, if Jeff cast this spell, it was a nothing like 0 first level spell. It said that he would be contacted by a powerful sorcerer king because thousands of people in another dimension died every time he cast that spell. He was a first level wizard. That's ridiculous. That doesn't make any. That's too goofy for me. I mean, that could be cool if you're casting a 9th level spell. I mean, you got to use 1,000 souls from another dimension. Okay, I get it.
Or you're doing some weird ritual. There's some. Yeah. Yes, Bruce, Johnny Dangerously.
Oh, I didn't recall that one, Darth. He says the DCC wizard reminds him of the wizard prestige class in 3.5 that slowly turned you into an aberration. Yeah, that don't sound great. Don't sound great at all.
But there are people that like that. What's the one that had a tumor?
Yes. Oh, the
familiar tumor. Was a tumor.
Yeah, that was so.
I mean, come on.
It's not a tumor. It's my familiar. What's up, Tonka Todd? Glad you're here.
It's almost as bad as having your familiar be like an undead creature. I mean, come on.
My tumor is my rotten tooth. That's weird. Yeah.
You're familiar, you mean.
Why don't you tell them to do the things, Joe?
Yeah, hey, everybody needs to like and subscribe. Let me find the little thingy. Yeah. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button, the notification button, post comments, refer us to your pals, your enemies, your associates, just your passers-by on the street. Smack them in the head and say, go look up Biggest Geekus on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or in their podcatcher of choice. Don't hit them though. That's probably not a good idea. Probably end up in jail.
Joe, I'm going to show you something, and I don't want you to lose respect for it. Look at DM Blackwall. He used the tumor mechanic. Joe is very disappointed.
So weird.
Now you're going to have to make the game faster for him.
So I'm not sure if it directly comes from Vampire Hunter D, but he had a creature living in one of his hands. His familiar kind of thing. It would help him out magically.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's where the tumor mechanic came from, but it seems like it may have, or some other anime-like thing, because, dang, I just think that's just the weirdest thing ever.
Dude, Ironman Futurama Leela had a Boyle named Susan Boyle that could sing, kind of a tumor. Oh, Lord. Malachi liked Vampire Hunter D.
Well, see, in Vampire Hunter D, his hand, it wasn't a tumor, really. It was just his hand was kind of possessed by some magical creature, and he could touch things with his hand, and it would tell him things about what he was touching. It was all with regard to magic. And sure, it was kind of cool.
Right.
But a tumor, it just seems a little odd, especially when the kind of the character type that you are that has the tumor familiar is also just you're disgusting.
Yeah.
And the tumor familiar just takes you a little bit over the top of being disgusting.
Vampire Hunter
D. It might be an Ooze master that has the tumor familiar.
Might have been. Someone said Cancer Mage. I think it was Bruce Lombardo. Was that the Cancer Mage? I don't remember.
That might be a nickname of it, but I don't think it was actually called a Cancer Mage.
Malachi says he highly recommends the new dub of Vampire Hunter D, so much better than the original. I am not an anime guy at all, but Vampire Hunter D is one of the few that that are palatable to me.
It's not as guilty as most of the anime out there of the weirdness where you're so serious, and then some anthropomorphic creature comes in there and goes, hey, does all this zany stuff, and then people's facial expressions. I'm talking about for animated things.
Yeah.
That just the weird facial expressions and characters that are over the top of their head that the anime thing does, or the running forever.
Oh, welcome Mercer Core RPG, but I don't know what that means. Exclamation. What does that mean when you're chatting with an exclamation? Is that a code for something? Randy. Does it mean Randy's awesome? I think it means
bang.
I think it means Randy's awesome. I think that's what it means. I'm hip with this new lingo. Oh. So, question, Joe. It is 9:21. Do we want to push the review of Dragon Volume 2 to next week and give us a little more time to look at
Let's
it?
do that. Give us more time to read it.
All right.
So a good preview, though, are a bunch of NPC classes that we accidentally didn't use as PCs and didn't go well. Did not go well. We can talk about... Huh?
That's my dude. Mercer Core RPG changed his... it's the guy that ran me through Rifts for a while. It's my Rifts guy. Yeah. Going to be getting...
my hello. Bang. Well, the exclamation point, you can also... With the exclamation point, you can... is also referred to as bang. So he comes into the room and says bang.
Okay. Never hear to that, dude. But that's cool. Glad you're here, bro.
So Mercer Core is your dude? Oh.
It's RPG is
I
done.
saw that. Yeah. I see it now.
Man, the myth, the legend. He is reborn.
Right. But yeah, we've been talking about oozes for 2 hours.
Yeah.
We can probably talk about, we might be able to make that Dragon magazine go for the whole show.
I think we could. I think next week could be the whole Dragon.
Especially with all the NPC classes.
Oh, I love the Gygax articles. There's lots to talk about.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that?
The whole acting thing, which I think is stupid, but
I think it's fabulous. We're going to act all the time, me and Joe now. We're going to study to be actors. All right.
So we can, let's see. We are done with that. Let's go here. Yeah, Big Geek. In Big Geek Land, do you want to talk about some interesting things for Con?
Yeah. So early at the beginning of the show, you guys heard that we're at 14 people. Got a couple of dudes in a nearby town who make a really cool game called Horde Wars. I think they'll be coming. I hope they do. Rising like a phoenix, Mercer Core. Big Geek Con, 22nd, 23rd, Four Winds Hotel in Saginaw. Now we're thinking, and Joe, you agree with me on the changes, right? So I'm going to go ahead and announce them today.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to allow, and we got, the only problem is we got someone that I believe has bought tickets for his children, so we may have to reimburse them. No. He's a friend. We're going to try to go with kids 13 and under, can go free, max 2 kids per adult. The adult must accompany the child the whole time. If you buy tickets the day of the show, because the show is looking like it's going to happen, we're going to charge you $40. And that means even at the door, even if you come just for Saturday, it's $40. So go to Tabletop Events, check out Big Geek Con 1, sign up and buy some tickets. Martinson says I'm messing up again. It's supposed to be 4 points. Thank you. Why do I keep saying wins? And DM Blackwall says the plan. Yeah, get to Tabletop.
The reason you keep saying 4 wins is because you copy and paste all of your things, right? It's a copy and paste error, and you just don't remember until someone reminds you. Yeah. So you got to correct your template.
I do. My template needs correction. A lot about me needs correction. Episode 150, I want to give away free tickets to Big Geek Con. I bought 3, and I believe Bruce has also sent money to purchase
at least one.
Well, one's good enough. That'll be 4 tickets we would love to give away on the show, so you could come for free that way. I think
that's 7 weeks from now.
Yeah, so it would be really cool. What was the deadline? July 1st?
Yeah, we moved it.
We're moving it to August 1st now because it's looking like it's with 14 people. I think we're pretty much in like plan.
It's looking fine. We're going to bump it up a little bit. I think we can get to 20.
Mm-hmm.
It's looking very promising.
Yeah, I gotta twist some arms. Some of our friends have yet to buy tickets. They've told me they're coming. So
what we should say is 15.
15 what?
Because Bruce has sent us money for the tickets before we had the setup.
Okay.
So technically we have 15 tickets.
Yeah, technically we do have 15. So yes, because Bruce has given us a free giveaway. Thank you, Bruce Lombardo. So we do have 15 paid for tickets. I would like to give 4 away on the show. Hopefully folks will show up on episode 150 for that free giveaway. Anything new on Big Geek Emporium? I think you said there was something about bundles or something.
Right. We've got bundles up working. We have a couple of creators who are bundling things together, and they're going to let us know if we need to make any improvements to that process. Also, we've got what do we have? We have a new feature coming up where vendors are going to be able to contact their customers directly via email, via Big Geek Emporium. So I'm going to kill a dog.
Yeah, kill one. You'll still have some
At
left.
least take him outside. Anyway, vendors on Big Geek Emporium will be able to contact their customers to for marketing purposes through Big Geek Emporium. So yeah.
And Joe and I are going to do our best to actually play a game of Hyperborea again. I actually want to have a big day this weekend, but I got to talk to the wife. I think I can. Joe is off, so he has no excuse. He quit on us last time. Oh no, that was me. Hey, Mercer Core.
Not like I haven't done that myself, but it didn't ruin the.
DM Blackwall, I am going to try. I think I'm 75% with Grand Con. I need to make sure I's are dotted and T's are crossed. So anyway, I think that's about all we got, right?
Yeah, so that we can knock off. So I can get my barking dog outside.
Thank you to all the Rumble ranters. That was fantastic. You were too.
That was awesome. Thank you very much. All right. Anything else from you?
Nothing here.
Good. We don't want to hear it anyway. If you'd like to support the show, please like, subscribe, and share us where you are listening or viewing the show, whether on YouTube or on Rumble. Hopefully we can add another place at some point. You can, all the places where you can contribute to the show. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Barking's not too
bad. You can still hear it pretty well, yeah.
Hey, how about you do the end? I'm going to mute.
Okay. All right. So you can catch us at PayPal, Streamlabs. Well, you can send us a little money at PayPal, Streamlabs, Ko-Fi, and Patreon. Our website is bigasgeekaspodcast.com. You can email us at thegeeks@bigasgeekaspodcast.com. And of course, don't forget to check out Big Geek Emporium, biggeekemporium.com. You'll find all the cool games, independent places. We don't try to rip you off. We don't try to censor you. So check it out. Buy some cool games for your table. All right, Joe, you about ready?
Yes.
Okay.
This is Joe.
And this is Randy.
And remember, if you can't be big like us, then be geeks like us.